Welcome back, friends. As we continue to think about responses, I want you to think about this question. Why is it important to have responses to a problem and a resolution? Remember, the story of Gilberto and the Wind had many events rather than just one problem and resolution, and authors can write stories in many different ways. So today you will examine another way to write a story that is different from Gilberto and the Wind. There's a story I'd like to share with you, and you can see the story on your screen. I want you to listen carefully as I read. Once upon a time, there was a boy named Kent. Kent went to the ice cream store and bought an ice cream cone. Suddenly, he dropped his cone. I'm going to reread the story, and this time, you should listen very carefully and point to the story element at the bottom of the screen that matches what I read in the story. For example, if I mention a character, you will point to the character icon at the bottom. Are you ready? Listen. Once upon a time, there was a boy named Kent. Did you point to the character icon? Kent is the main character in my story. Let's keep going. Kent went to the ice cream store and bought an ice cream cone. Did you point to the setting? Because the setting is the ice cream store. Suddenly, he dropped his cone. I'm sure you pointed to the problem because that is a problem that Kent has. Now, what is missing from this story? What is missing? You pointed to the resolution icon because the story is missing a resolution or an ending. Okay, I know how I want the story to end, but somehow it doesn't sound quite right. So I want you to listen to the story again and listen to my resolution. Once upon a time, there was a boy named Kent. Kent went to the ice cream store and bought an ice cream cone. Suddenly, he dropped his cone. The ice cream man gave him another one. Now, although I think I have a pretty good ending, the story ends too quickly. I want the story to be more interesting and to make sense. So, what could Kent do to respond or react to the problem of dropping his ice cream cone? I'm going to say that again. What could Kent do to respond or react to the problem of dropping his ice cream cone? Think. What could happen next? Now, you're going to help me improve my story by adding a response to the problem. Remember, the question is, what could Kent do to respond to the problem of dropping his ice cream cone? How could he react? Think. Now, pause the video to draw or write to show one way Kent could respond. I really wish I could see what you've written. Here's some things that I thought of. Kent started crying, and Kent asked his mother for another cone. Now, I don't know about you, but the story will be much more interesting now that I have some ideas for adding a response. And I am going to add this element to my narrative writing anchor chart. And you will see I added response to the problem to my anchor chart, and I added it between the problem but before the resolution. In the next lesson, you'll write how Gilberto might respond to a problem he has with the wind. All right, awesome first graders. Nice job identifying events in the text Gilberto and the Wind. Next time, we'll continue with the text Gilberto and the Wind, but until then, be kind and do something great because you are capable of greatness.